guys, today I thought I'd talk about social responsibility and long-term sustainability. Like, oh my god, I have so much responsibility. I'm sure you do, as do I and everybody else in the world. However, what we need to understand that if we are going to evolutionize our race, I think that we need to start looking at how we can think globally and act locally. So nothing can be achieved alone. The power is in numbers, and by banding together, united we stand, divided we fall. This structure took me quite a few days to build on my own. However, if I had help, it would have been done instantly. It's up to us as responsible people of this earth to look at how we individually can take those necessary steps to paint a bigger picture. Now, just to imagine you're flying over, and you look down and there's a bag of rubbish on everyone's doorstep. Right? It's like, yeah. Then the next day, that bag of rubbish was replaced with a tree. And you look down and you see, fine. So each individual act, when we look up and look down, has a visual impact. We don't see it when we're down here, but when you go up and you look down, it's a different story. The other idea is my neighbours. You know, I've been to so many beaches around the world and I'm disgusted, and it makes me so sad and so sick to see plastic bags, bottles, cigarette butts, you name it, and it's like, really? We're still doing this? So if my neighbours were throwing their rubbish onto my doorstep, they'd be getting a knock at the door like, excuse me, it's time you started cleaning up your own mess here. And that's what we're actually doing as an international community. Particularly, I live in England and the Americans, and we ship our rubbish to other countries and expect that they're going to deal with it. I want to ask you a question. Is that actually fair? And how much money do you pay to go on a beach holiday only to be swimming in your rubbish? It's beyond me. So, okay, we're not going to change what's happened in the past, but we can start taking individual steps today to make a big difference on the global scale. Well, how could this potentially happen? Has anyone ever thought about the cost of a piece of plastic? Once, okay, so I've been told that it's too expensive to manufacture, biodegradable, all of that sort of thing. But when I sit and think about it, how much is that piece of plastic costing for a garbage man to collect it, for it then to be weighed and then tipped, shipped, and then dumped in the oceans, and then someone else to clean it up? You might find that that tiny piece of plastic is 10 times more expensive than the manufacturer actually paid for it. So then whose responsibility does that become to dispose of it? Is it us? Or should we be asking or fighting for manufacturers to start looking into biodegradable, compostable, and all the materials that they can use? It's not too expensive for us. It's not too expensive for them. Well, to them it's a little bit more expensive, but if you look at the cost of, for us, we pay our governments, we pay a lot more for this tiny piece of plastic than anyone actually realizes. And then we're swimming next to it. It's just gross. Sorry. And so when we're looking at individual responsibility and how we can start to shift, you know, it's not that money corrupts people, it's that it corrupts our imagination. So we can no longer imagine a nation. We just think someone else will do it. We can just pay someone else. I'll just throw my rubbish. Someone needs a job. Sure, we all need a job. But does that mean at the sacrifice of our planets and our neighbours? So you collect it from here and you're dumping it into someone else's garden, i.e. country. It's kind of gross. Now, again, going back to the power in numbers and looking at our long-term sustainability I have in the past looked at corporate social responsibility and how we can start to use these corporates rather than feeling like we're being robbed in a corporation, but how we can start to work with them and start to form corporate social responsibility. So it's not just up to you as the individual, it's up to corporations as well. And it's how we, power in numbers, bands together to start looking at corporate social responsibility and our own individual social responsibility and how we can bridge that gap. It's not hard. Again, it could take me a year to build something, but if I don't have a screwdriver, if I don't have screws, if I don't have bits of wood, I ain't gonna build anything. Maybe you're the screw, and maybe you're the wood, and maybe someone else is something else, and when you come together, you've built yourselves a little house. Like, maybe the power is in numbers. I can guarantee you that small steps on a local level, looking up and looking down, if we all did our own little thing, you would start to see a massive change globally. Now, again, going back to diversity and looking at all the diverse forms of life on this planet, it's your responsibility as the apparent intelligent one to be looking at these issues and then looking at how you can start to have the imagination to imagine a nation that was free of plastics, of oil spills, of just, I'm sorry, but it makes me sick to think about how we have passed our responsibility onto somebody else, and we're relying on governments who are taking your money but then actually just throwing it over the fence to their neighbours. It's not really that fair, and I would like everybody to stop for a second, look at your own social responsibility, how when maybe something no longer has a life, you can bring it back to life. I know that those trainers up there wouldn't want to step in a puddle, but putting a plant in them, completely different story. It's about using our imagination to make small steps collectively, small steps locally, so we can actually achieve something globally. The power is in numbers, and the power is in your hands, nobody else's. And sometimes we have to get our hands dirty in order to get the job done. So I hope that you've started to look at social responsibility from a completely different perspective. It's not anybody else's responsibility. It's yours, mine. United we stand, divided we fall. Have a great day.